Hey everybody, this is me, Lance Mikester from Gray Fox Games, also known as the Undead Viking in the board game world. And I just wanted to talk to you really briefly about something that has been on my noodle for a little bit. And I've had some conversations with some other people in our Discord, in the Gray Fox Games Discord. If you aren't a member of the Discord and you are a Discord person or whatever, I would love for you to join if you want to get the scuttlebutt on new releases from us and just talk about games in general. And sometimes we have like fun little things that we do in there. But I'll put the link down below if you want to join the Discord. But regardless to any of that, I wanted to talk a little bit about campaign board games. So way back in the day, like in the ancient times when I got into the board game hobby, uh, the idea of coming up with a game that was like the perfect dungeon crawler, like take Dungeons and Dragons and put it into a board game and be able to play like this campaign. This was something that early games like Descent, which now has had two or three different revisions or editions of it or whatever, that attempted to do this. And, it did an okay job, if you will. But recently, there's been several games since then that the whole premise of the board game is that you start at the beginning with a story and then you play it and then you play it again and you move the story along and you play it and you move the story along a little further and so on and so forth. And this is something that has become, I wouldn't say really prevalent in the board game hobby, uh, but it is definitely with the success of games like Gloomhaven, the Elder Scrolls game that now is getting a lot of buzz. Uh, Larian did a Divinity Original Sin type of game. The Chronicles of Drunagor, Isofarian Guard. I mean, there's tons of these games out there, including one that I actually played to completion called Sleeping Gods. Now, this isn't that like Gray Fox Games generally is going to be like creating one of these games, but we're always open to ideas of games and what have you. But just don't take it like there's some big Champions of Midgard like themed campaign game in the works or anything. That you should not take it as such. This, like I said, is just something that was in my noodle, and I was just thinking about it a little bit. And I always thought that the idea of that campaign game just kind of lended itself towards a very, very niche project because of the fact that you basically have to have the same people, uh, generally speaking, the same people show up week in, week out, month after month, or whatever, to be able to play that game several times. And most of these games have, like it takes between 10 to 20 sessions of the game to achieve the entire story. For example, Sleeping Gods, I mentioned it. I basically had one of my friends, my friend Brad, come over and play Sleeping Gods with me like pretty much every weekend for about 2 or 3 months until we completed the game. And we enjoyed it. We liked the story. And then we found out that we only achieved like maybe a third of the content that was within it. And I just was one of those things where it's like that had already taken up so much time. I just didn't see myself going back in and discovering all the different content, the different endings, and whatever. But I do know people that do that, and I am a bit envious that they have the ability to have that kind of spare time and the group or whatever to be able to put that together. And I guess the whole point of this video isn't to say that campaign games are good, bad, or otherwise. I think there's all kinds of games within the hobby that will suit every single person and will give them what they want when it comes to playing a board game. But for me, I just feel, I guess, for lack of a better word, a little sad that I don't live in a space where I'm able to play a campaign game from beginning to end on a regular basis. The fact that I was able to do that with that one game, Sleeping Gods, uh, just is an aberration. It's just something that I can't fit into my life at this time. So there you go. I mean, and again, this is just more hopefully a provocative thing to make you think about it. Tell me about some of the campaign games you played. Tell me whether or not these games are things that you like. Are there ones that you played through to the end and you thought they were just astounding, amazing? How many sessions did it take to get through all those? Just tell me about it. I'd love to have a conversation about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. hit the old like, subscribe, whatever. If you want to join our Discord, go ahead and do that. If you want to have these discussions on a more real-time basis instead of leaving a comment on the old YouTube page. Until next time, this is me, Lance Meister from Gray Fox Games.